Right now at noon, how the city of Miami plans to use a more than $6 million grant from FEMA.
We had some scattered showers and storms this morning. Cloudy, still hot in some locations. More storms on the way. Latest on that forecast coming up.
Plus, the MSSU Board of Governors discusses penalties for students who fall behind on payments.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, day 2 of the Republican National Convention is themed to Make America Safe Again. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowe. The theme signaling an emphasis on the signature issues of the Trump campaign, border security and immigration. The former president made an appearance on the convention floor last night as the GOP nominee. And as Sabrina Franza reports, one of his former rivals is set to take the stage.
Donald Trump emerged on the convention floor in Milwaukee last night, officially the Republican nominee for president. The bandage on his right ear, a reminder of Saturday's attempt on his life. His appearance moved some in the crowd to tears.
The fact that he's here is just, I find it overwhelming and touching that he's not hiding, he's not scared.
Trump selected his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and is said to be reworking his keynote speech for Thursday night to reflect greater unity. Advisor Jason Miller says Trump can bring together a divided America.
There's still some very serious issues that our country is facing. President Trump will be addressing those, but the tone is going to be much different.
One issue central to Trump's brand, immigration. Today's theme at the convention, Making America Safe Again, with a focus on supporting law enforcement and border security. Former Trump challenger and UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is tonight's keynote speaker. She left the race in March and didn't endorse Trump until May.
I put my priorities on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies and hold our enemies to account, who would secure the border. No more excuses.
Haley says while Trump isn't perfect on all of the issues, he should reach out to her supporters to widen his coalition, something her speech here tonight could help accomplish. Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Milwaukee.
Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got those cloudy skies out there, but also a little bit on the hazy side. It is muggy in some locations. Other locations that received a little bit more rainfall this morning, not doing so bad. This, of course, MoDOT camera 32nd in range line in Joplin. It is cloudy. We can see those same clouds from our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin as well. Now, Joplin did get a little bit of rain this morning, but not nearly as much as some of our friends up to the north managed to get. Right now, all we've got are some spotty showers across the area. We are starting to see some redevelopment taking place, minor showers, but still new development taking place out to the west, Elk and Chautauqua counties out there. And if we put this into motion, you can see that first complex that rolled through is now actually producing tornado warnings just to the southwest of St. Louis. As for us, though, we are just waiting for that new development to take place as we head into the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours. So far, yesterday, we started 8 degrees above normal and made it 7 degrees above normal for the high, but not quite to record status. We still have some heat advisories. They've been trimmed back a little in the northern counties where we got that rain, but we do have some heat advisories continuing out there through 8, and you can see easily on the temperature map why we have those still in place, as we've got some upper 80s, low 90s. We're starting to see those heat index values climb. We'll continue to see that opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head through the evening and into the overnight hours, with those chances increasing across the area overnight. And we're still a bit mild initially, around 80 by midnight, but then we're going to start to cool down and actually drop below normal. We'll have details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, the Federal Emergency Management Agency is helping address flooding issues in Miami, Oklahoma with a new grant. The $6.3 million grant is the largest grant the city has ever received. The city will use the money for hazard mitigation projects in 5 different flood-prone areas. Their aim is to prevent future road closures due to roadway flooding, and the selected areas are direct routes in and out of the city. An announcement ceremony was held on one of the most affected bridges in the city, where local and state officials celebrated the steps towards improvement.
This is the largest one we've ever gotten. I mean, it just thanks, and we're not stopping here, you know. I mean, we have over $10 million in grants for the last 2 years, which is huge for a city Miami size. I mean, and we're not stopping. So, I mean, it's just, And you know, we want to help the citizens. We want to help Miami grow. So
the project is expected to take 3 years to complete from design to finish. And the prospect addressing flood issues throughout Miami makes residents hopeful. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with residents about how the flooding has impacted their lives for decades.
My grandmother is one of those that has lived in a house that's flooded multiple times, and I actually currently live in a house that's on the 500-year floodplain right off of this road.
For Miami residents like Caitlin Baker, flooding is something she not only expects, but she fears every time it rains.
I'm always worried about getting stuck in my house because of the flooding. I never know what's going to happen. Same with my grandmother. Whenever her house floods, or even whenever it rains a lot, I mean literally PTSD. It is so overwhelming because you just don't know how much it's going to flood this time, right?
The flooding issues span across Miami, with streets and even homes and businesses known to frequently fill with water.
Every time it floods in our area, we become an island because these roads go underwater, and you know, it's a state agency that's flooding us, and they kind of hold us hostage.
The city is engaged in a lengthy battle with the Grand River Dam Authority, who Mayor Bless Parker says is responsible for many of Miami's flooding issues. A logjam in April that caused flooding sparked more outcries about the impact on the city. Officials hope that the grant for road improvements in flood-prone areas is a step in the right direction.
This is us kind of breaking free of those shackles with this grant, allowing us to open up our roads and make things be able to flow around our community.
Now this is the bridge on Veterans Boulevard in Miami. It's one of the key places to flood, and it's being addressed in the grant. Now Miami city officials say when roadways like this do flood, it makes it difficult for the city to function.
I mean, getting stuck to where I can't go from one side of town to the other unless I go way outside of my normal. And I mean, that costs you more gas. You know, you're using your car more, and with how everything is right now, I mean, that's really hard on someone's paycheck.
A lot of people say, hey, you're the town that floods. I can't bring my business there because I won't be able to get traffic through town when it floods. So this will be that stopgap that won't hold us prisoner anymore.
For residents like Baker, she's excited for what the future might hold.
It literally changes people's lives, and so I'm hoping this will change for the better, and that we can trust in our leadership in Miami that they're going to take care of us and they're going to push for us.
Reporting in Miami, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
City officials say they are continuing to look for ways to address flooding issues as they continue their legal battle with the GRDA. The Missouri Southern Board of Governors yesterday held a special meeting to discuss penalties for students who fall behind on payments. The board decided to add a $100 late fee to a student's outstanding balance if payments are behind schedule. Before now, the school withheld transcripts for students with an outstanding balance, but a new federal law changed that. And coming up, a local volunteer gets some statewide recognition for her community service. And later, we're making taco casserole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. A Neosho, Missouri woman receives state recognition for her volunteer efforts, helping those in need. Susan Carlston volunteers with Freeman Neosho Meals on Wheels, her church, and the Neosho Fish Hatchery. Yesterday, the Missouri Community Service Commission recognized Carlston with its Senior Service Award for her efforts.
When I first heard about it, I was just really surprised because I don't feel like I really do any more than anybody else.
Carlston says she was first inspired to help others after her injured mother received help from a volunteer following the Joplin tornado. Special Olympics bowlers in Southeast Kansas aimed for a chance to compete at the state level. Over 270 adults bowlers competed in the Southeast Regional Bowling Tournament today at Holiday Lanes in Pittsburgh. It's a chance for athletes with developmental and intellectual disabilities to not only compete, but to come together as a community.
My biggest thing is getting individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities out and about and giving them ways to socialize, be competitive, make friends, and just keep them busy. That's really my goal.
The state bowling event will be held August 9th through the 10th in Olathe, Kansas. Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
With a casserole this satisfying, it's a good thing today is Taco Tuesday, and it's tasty enough to serve any day of the week.
And we've got a lull in activity right now, but more showers and thunderstorms on the way, as well as below average temperatures. Latest on that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we've got some cloudy skies out there. Unfortunately, it's not stopping some of us from heating up, and that's why we still have some heat advisories in place. We also have a few isolated showers, and we're expecting this all to increase in coverage as we head later into the evening and into the overnight hours, especially across the area. So again, isolated showers out there right now, stretching through parts of southeastern Kansas, and some slightly heavier showers down into Elk and Chautauqua County and back into Washington County at this point. Nothing significant, which is good, because that thunderstorm complex that rolled through this morning, where we saw those storms fire up very quickly, has now raced off to the north and east and up around the St. Louis area. It is actually generating tornado warnings. In fact, with this line, which has now become this Boeing line, it's surging southeast. They've had a couple of confirmed tornadoes, at least radar confirmed tornadoes, south of St. Louis. So we got in on the lucky side of this, and we did not have any severe weather with our activity this morning, but we could still see a strong storm or two out there. Now, our tornado risk is very low. We don't have any areas highlighted. And a change, we've still got that low end risk for hail across the region, but we also now have an elevated wind risk, mainly into southwestern Missouri, where we could see some damaging winds, 60, 70 miles an hour with these storms as they roll through later. So let's take a look at the future track. As we end the afternoon, again, isolated showers and a few rumbles of thunder here and there. And we're going to have an opportunity, especially down south here, to really heat up, which is why these heat advisories are sticking around. Then as we go late tonight into the overnight hours, that's when we're going to see a few more organized thunderstorms begin to develop, and we'll be dealing with these thunderstorms overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. So as we get our commute underway, Kansas, Oklahoma border and I-44 points south, probably still dealing with these thunderstorms, and some of these thunderstorms still could be strong to severe. Once we head into the rest of our Wednesday, we'll have an opportunity for isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two as we head into the afternoon. But for the most part, we're going to begin to dry out. And take a look at these wind arrows coming out of the northeast now. That's going to also help bring temperatures down. So once we get through today, we're going to get a break from this oppressive heat that's just had another hold on us. However, for today at least, we still got to deal with it. We have the heat advisories across the region for the counties highlighted in orange. These run until 8 this evening. And in these zones, you could still see those heat index values up to 110 degrees today. So even though it's cloudy, it looks okay outside. It's getting quite muggy because of the rain, all that moisture that we have in the air. Dew points are higher. Look at this in Joplin. It's 71 dew points. That puts us way up in that soupy range, and that's why the heat index is so much higher too. 88, but it feels like 94. So where we had some rain this morning, it did help keep temperatures cooler. Look at Yates Center and Iola, for example, upper 70s and some low 80s further north. But as you go further south, you start getting into the upper 80s and low 90s. And once you factor in the dew point and the humidity, that's when we start to see the heat kick in. Take a look at these heat index values, upper 90s, already seeing some lower 100s in some of our southern counties out there as well. So this unpleasant heat, it's going to be right in this zone where the temperatures are already turning that red color out there. So again, just because it's cloudy does not mean that we're out of the woods with the heat yet. Most of us today, mid-upper 90s for our highs. But again, up north where you got some rain, you're going to be a little cooler. You probably make it into the low to mid-90s out there. And southwest breeze occasionally gusting upwards of 20. While those thunderstorm chances increasing overnight, falling back to about 70 instead of close to 80 like we started this morning. And some of those storms, again, could be strong to severe. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Tomorrow, we'll have some of those scattered storms out there, maybe a couple of pop-up storms in the afternoon, but these temperatures now below normal. We should be about 90, and we're going to be in the low to mid-80s the next couple of days. So we're going to get a break from this unpleasant heat out there, and we'll start to warm back up. But as you can see, even by the start of next week, temperatures hot, but average, as we go back in the low 90s with some additional shower and thunderstorm chances starting up again next Tuesday. So we'll keep an eye on the storms tonight in case they get nasty. But the big thing here, the big benefit is the cooler temperatures.
Definitely manageable. For sure. All right. Thanks, Chris. We'll stick around. We're making taco casserole in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is showing us how to make a taco casserole in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
The last couple of years, it seems like everyone's into teaming days of the week with certain foods. You know, meatless Mondays, fish Fridays, and on and on. And I've never been a big fan of this concept since I've always felt you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want. But today, I'm giving in with a taco casserole that you can serve on Taco Tuesdays or really any day. We start by sauteing some ground beef with a chopped onion until the beef is browned. After it's drained, We add in some garlic powder, taco seasoning mix, and a can of tomato sauce. We give this a good stir and set it aside while we mix together some sour cream and a good amount of cottage cheese. Yes, I said cottage cheese. Now we build this, sort of like a lasagna, starting with a layer of crushed tortilla chips. Then we spoon on some of the meat sauce, followed by half of the sour cream mixture, and we top it with shredded Colby Jack. We'll layer everything one more time and into the oven it goes. When it's heated through and the cheese is melty delicious, get ready for an all-in-one casserole that is bursting with goodness, layer after layer. The recipe for our taco casserole is online now and is ready for Taco Tuesday or any day you crave something fill you up delicious. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a weeknight easy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
A few scattered showers out there now. More thunderstorms expected as we roll into the evening hours across the area and overnight tonight. A few scattered storms for the first part of our Wednesday. Below normal temperatures for the next few days. And we'll go back to about average with more rain chances next week. Quick reminder, some of the storms tonight could be strong to severe. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And we still have heat advisories. Some of us could still see those heat index values today up to 110, but relief is on the way.
Oh, it looks fantastic. Can't wait. And Dad, what do you have for us this evening?
Well, it's coming up at 5. For starters, an estimated 12 million Americans have peripheral artery disease, suffering with plaque buildup that can lead to amputation or heart attack. We're going to take a look at how a new procedure is giving hope to those with the disease. Plus, Pure Heart Basketball in Galena puts on a scoring fundamentals camp, and naturalists from the Missouri Department of Conservation invite nature enthusiasts to learn about the critters that live among the rocks in Shoal and Silver Creek. We hope you'll join us for those stories, a lot more. Of course, it's all coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dow. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll, of course, see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.